morning, good afternoon, good evening. I see so many familiar faces. Elizabeth, Rashmi, hi. My name is Evelyn. I am going to be your moderator, but you will hear most of the time from Marilee. Before I hand it over to Marilee, two housekeeping items. Number one, you can probably see we are recording this, and then the recording will be available on your Matchbox. Number two, we wanted to hear from you. So type in the chat where you are joining from. And with that, keep your camera on, anticipate to join some breakout sessions. And with that, I will hand it over to Marilee.
All right. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I am very, very excited to be kicking off this amazing program. So I have a couple of logistics to talk to you about. I'd like to introduce myself. Today, we're going to spend 2 hours together. I have prepared a lot of content for you, but I'm so excited that I got invited to do this and that I'll share my insights with you. All right, so before getting started, I'd love if we can share a little survey that I've put together. The reason that I want to share this survey is because I want to understand, what the current role of people is. In what way you've been exposed to AI in your current role, and then what you're hoping to get out of this workshop. There's also a field that says, hey, is there anything like personal or confidential you'd like to share with me? The reason I ask this whenever I talk about the surveys because, some people may feel a bit self-conscious. Some people may be a bit overwhelmed by AI and everything going on around us. So I want to hear because I want to help you learn and make the most out of this workshop. So I know that the link will be pasted. Yeah, perfect. Okay, that's it. So if you don't mind, just take a couple of minutes to fill this out. And in the meantime, I am going to be sharing my screen so that we can actually kick things off. All right, there we go. So I made this tweet. It was a few months ago, and it was around the words of, all product in the future. And I was literally thinking about it because I I was working for Google at the time, and I was building a feature that ended up being a smart feature that leveraged AI. And I realized that I was a manager, and what I was doing was literally working with research scientists in order to bring smart experiences to life. So I define myself as an AI product, but I should not, because I believe that every product manager should or will leverage AI in some capacity. So please fill out the survey because I do want to understand if you've done this already, or if you will, if you're planning to, or if you want to get an actual AI PM role so that we can understand and take it from there. And I see that most of the people here are actually already product managers, which is super great. Yeah, so keep filling it out before we kick things off. So Steve Jobs said, hey, a lot of times people don't know what they want until you show it to them. And this is very true, especially in AI, because users don't really understand the capabilities that AI has. Users understand that, Gen AI is great, and you can, have a cat dressed in a panda costume that's on the airplane or whatever you want it to be. But people don't understand how that is their day-to-day life. So users decide to actually reject it. So while showing off demos of like AI generated content and all these things, our job as product managers is to figure out a way to access the models that create these capabilities and figure out a way to woven the models into products such that they provide actual real utility for the users. So we leverage the unique capabilities of AI to focus on solving specific real world problems for users. And that's exactly what I'm here to talk to you about. And we're all very familiar with what I just talked about, right? So You can write a little prompt and come up with like these amazing photorealistic images. You can come up with ideas like, okay, well, here's how I use ChatGPT the other day, and I'm like, come up with a dating app idea that's unique. ChatGPT literally provided not only the app idea, but like the name and what it does and who the users are. Image generation, as we talked about, but not just image generation, taking image as an input and translating that into other styles of images. So you see, the input can be satellite and the output can be kind of a 2D GPS version, or the input could be a photograph, and then the photograph can be transformed into what Monet would draw, or Van Gogh, or other styles. What I love doing is asking it to show me what the famous picture would be like if a 3-year-old were to design it. It's just really cool. So there's so many capabilities, and we've all been trying it, right? So semantic image to photo. This is, for example, an app where you can age someone. Or on the left, you can see what Tesla is doing, which is an input from the actual photo to understanding the actual context. So if this is a car, this is a tree, this is a street. For Tesla, you would take this functionality and transform it into intelligence for your car so that it can self-drive and understand where the obstacles are, so that it can actually tell you, hey, you're too close here, or it can give you information while you're typing or driving. There's so much you can do with AI, right? There are some things that, are just fun filters to have on Snapchat. So obviously this was an image from Kylie Jenner that is like, oh, this is what I would look like when I grow old. But there's just no user value there. It's like, great, there's that. So we need product managers to find that user value and to figure out how to work with AI in order to solve users' problems. So here is a little example. So obviously, this is David Beckham. There's something called content localization in AI. The people were able to understand, where the facial expressions are, the nose, the mouth, the eyes. And they were able to separate that part so that they can make the mouth move as if David Beckham was speaking different languages. And again, this is a great technology, but they figured out a reason to do it. So they actually made him speak different languages for a campaign for a specific illness. So let's see what that looks like. Oh.
تقتل طفلا كل دقيقتين.
We're using AI to do what we call vision.
Let's see this again.
Malaria isn't just any disease. It's the deadliest disease there's ever been.
Billion 50 muri twe.
وما زالت تقتل طفلا كل دقيقتين.
We're using AI to do what we call visual synthesis. It's actually the same thing as you would do in a Hollywood studio. We use the video to build a 3D model, and we can then reanimate that so you can change the language or you can rewrite the script of a film. I think machine learning and AI is going to be a very important part of solving the world's health problems. What we are doing, I think, helps spread this message in a much more effective way than without using technology like ours.
I've been involved for quite a few years now because obviously it's such a huge killer of children around the world. And I think it's an incredible thing that's being done, but I also feel that, it's a disease that we can end in my lifetime.
Right, so they found the cause and they leveraged AI for the cause. So what I ask you, product managers, to do is find a pain point and leverage AI for that pain point.
Malaria isn't just...
Right. So what are we going to do? So today is a 2-hour little workshop. And I actually run a 12-week program, usually, which is an AI PM bootcamp. And this is just a little sneak peek of what I do. Because Women in Product reached out, and it was such an honor to say yes, to actually talk to you all about this and just share my insights. So today we'll talk about the difference between AI PM and Generalist PM. We'll talk about the AI product development lifecycle. We'll talk about Tesla, GPT-3, ChatGPT. and we'll have hands-on activities. This is a workshop, not a lecture. So I want you all to get to know each other, and I want you all to learn with each other. So in order to introduce myself, I am Marilee. I'm actually very technical. So I did a PhD in machine learning, and I had no idea what the PM role was all about. I actually, my PhD was funded by Google. So at the end of my PhD, I joined Google. But I was told, hey, we don't think you're a data scientist. We think you're a product manager. And that was 12 years ago. And I was just shocked. I was like, I'm not in marketing, I'm not in sales. And they said, hey, product management is so much not about sales. Product management is about, your OPMs, bridging, what the users want, evangelizing what they need within the company so that you can solve their problems. So I joined a team called the speech team. It was a research group, form voice into text. That's it. And they said, hey, Marilee, come in here and figure out what we can do for the users with this technology. Being a completely new PM and not knowing the basics about, roadmap and steering teams and cross-functional work and all that stuff, it was just very, very tricky. But it was an amazing experience. I was in the heart of 0 to 1 product management without even knowing it. We were able to start slow. So we created a product called Voice Search. You've all tried it on Google Search. You would press the microphone and search, and it would actually show results. But that was a huge leap 10 years ago, especially when we launched to countries where people people did not know how to write. So we actually provided for these people the ability to search the web by their voice. So the impact was massive. And then, as the months went by, at some point, Alexa came out from Amazon, the device where you say, hey, Alexa, and you ask anything. So all the companies started trying to pivoting, and they started saying, oh my God, okay, how do I change things? Like, how can I embed this voice search technology into a hardware and a device? So it was amazing to figure out, what the requirements would be. How, is the hardware going to be good enough? Like the microphone, could it listen to me if I'm sitting here and the device is on the other side? What can it do? Like now I'm searching for images of cats by a voice, right? What can hardware do for me? And then the Google Assistant got created. And then we started this whole revolution of trying to figure out what to do, how to do it, what do the users want. So like Steve Jobs said, we don't know what users want until we show it to them. Now, I'm sure everyone in this group has at least either an Alexa or Google Home device or Siri in some capacity. I heard that OpenAI is now coming up with hardware. So I was working on the future, and it was such a great opportunity. So then I joined Meta's Reality Labs, and I work here since last January, not 2 Januaries ago. And we do photorealistic avatars. So how can I appear in the metaverse when I look like myself? And this requires a ton of AI. This is, again, hardware, software, all blended together. But at the same time, I realized, we were interviewing for people, and a lot of people didn't understand AI. They didn't know what it is. So I found this gap. I made it as my mission to close it. So I founded the AI Product Academy, and I teach AI product management. I've taught over 1,000. It's a program that has, the first 3 weeks, an introduction to AI PM. What we're doing now is like a tiny, tiny part of this. So you'll see what it's like. But I also provide coaching to people. I revamp their resumes. We do a deep dive on the technical side of things with no technical background required, so that people can understand how coding works, how training a model works, but with no coding tools. Okay, I just love these no coding tools. And then we have a capstone project where people bring in the product they have at work, and we all do it together, and we come up with hard ways to solve it by infusing AI. And then we talk about interviewing and finding jobs. And I know this is a very tough job market. But if you're equipped with AI, you will be the first in line to get the next job. So for my bootcamp and as part of Women in Product, if anyone wants to join, I am happy to honor 20% off or even more if you need it, or for student discounts or anything like that. Please reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'd love to have you. Just let me know. All right, so AI will affect every part of enterprises. AI can contribute up to 15 trillion to the global economy in 2030. And then by then, companies that adopted it early, they're perfect. They'll double the cost, they'll do really well. But companies that did not adopt, they actually are going to have a decline in cash flow. So this means that if you don't run now to upskill with AI, you will lose in the long term. And I'm so happy you're here. Like it's 30, 34 of us passionate about this domain. So I'm happy to see that people are ready to upskill. All right. So what are some products that leverage AI using on our day-to-day? And by the way, feel free to type in the chat. I want to make this as interactive and inclusive as possible. So please write in the chat, ask your questions. I'm happy to take them and answer anything you want. I also plan meetups in the Bay Area for AI product management. So let me know if you're interested in attending any of these. All right. So some popular products. Google Lens. I don't know if you've tried it, but if you point your phone, you can literally see this meta information about, restaurants, for example. Which of your friends have been there? What is the price point? What is the star rating of this? And now imagine if you take this one step further and you change the form factor from a phone to a glass, right? It's like you have 3D powers and superpowers and you're a superhero that can see through walls and understand all this meta information. There are other things that everyone has been using on a day-to-day, like Google Photos, where you can type in the word dog or sky or mountain or wedding, and it will group together a lot of photos. It will group together a lot of information. Well, you don't have to do anything to train any of these models. They're pre-trained for you with the vast amount of data that already exists, like Google, for example. Okay. So this is a product that leverages AI, leverages classification. Classification is when we say, hey, computer, I'm going to give you a lot of photos. The photos are going to have labels, okay? So let's say we have two categories, a cat and a dog. And let's say we want to do something like, okay, this is what a cat looks like. This is what a cat looks like. And you upload a bunch of cat photos that are labeled. And then similarly, you upload a bunch of dog photos that are labeled as well. Then what you're going to do is you are going to tell the machine that, hey, now I'm going to give you a photo that does not have a label. Can you guess if it's a cat or a dog? And then the output that the machine will provide is a probability as to whether it sees a cat or a dog. So for every result you see there, Google Photos is never certain whether what you're seeing is a cat or is a dog. So there's always an error, a standard error that you may experience in product management for AI. We'll talk about metrics and how measuring success. But in the meantime, I want to show you a little example of what I'm talking about, and I'll send you this link. So here what I want to show you is, let's say, smile, and here is, I don't know, like sad. So now we're going to train a model, and we're going to do this without using any coding tools, okay? This is an amazing website. I'll show it to you. We'll get to do it together right after. So now I need to add, as I said, these are the labels, and I need to add sample data. So now I'm going to use my webcam, and I am going to show what a smile looks like. And I'm going to smile. Okay, so I smiled a lot. I uploaded 51 image samples. And now I'm going to be sad for a bit. Okay, I can. I'm very happy to be here. It's tough to fake being sad, but I'll do it, okay? That was very awkward. All right, so I have 39. Let me do more. Okay, 51 of smiling, 55 of being sad. I'm going to train this model. And you can see how quickly it's actually training this model. Look. Okay. So now, here it tells me the probability of whether I'm happy or sad. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, definitely smiling. Well, he probably needed more in order to detect me being sad. There you go. Okay, so this is a very simple example that shows you how this process works. And you can see there are no, because as I open my mouth, it kind of changes how I feel, right? So let's get warmed up. Let's literally, everyone, I want you to go to this website and I want you to come up with things. Like, do you have any items there with you? So I want you to like take a pen, add a class called, I don't know, pen, webcam, and just get out of the way and show your camera what pen looks like. Go ahead. Try to add like 100 photos just to make it better. And I'm gonna show my vitamin water here. Water. And I want you to literally do the same with items that you have on your desk or whatever you're on. Okay. And I'm gonna remove the rest because I didn't like my smile. There. And if I train my model, I think the results can be better. I want you all to do it right now. And I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. We're not going into a breakout room or anything like that. Just literally do it. And the best part, whenever I do this exercise, is looking at people, you know, what they show on the camera. Like someone is like literally showing their headphones. The other person, is that an airplane, Ramia? Okay. The cup, and yeah, this is great. I love doing this. So Xbox, Karen, awesome. Yep, the game controller. So yeah, let's keep doing it and train your model. I'm gonna give you a few minutes, and then I want someone to share their screen and show us a live demo of what they've trained. I love it. This is great. Nice. Some has Diet Coke, phones. Yeah, phone is a popular one. Water bottle. Caroline has a fancy water bottle. I bought the same water bottle and it's great. I know I spent like $50 on a water bottle. Okay, cool. So let's train our models now. And I'd love to ask for some people to volunteer to share their screen if you want to raise your virtual hand. Wow, that's a magnifying glass. Awesome. This is great. Yeah, and I'd love to ask people to raise their hands so that they can. Oh my God, are you really picking up your cat? Yeah, Dana is gonna train the model with your cat. Well, that's a new one. I've never seen that before. So, all right. So, who would like to share their screen and show me what they have created? There we go. We see your screen, but we don't hear you. If you'd like to unmute and show us.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you. Go for it. Show us what you got.
So I have the train model. So I did a flower and a cactus. So flower, look at this, really good.
Nice.
And I put a cactus on me and it shows a cactus.
Nice. Wonderful. Perfect. So what
Thank
did you think of this experience?
I loved it. I love the fact that you can actually do it very quickly. So I would love to hear from you in terms of more text and see that correlation if you could actually do as well. So, but this is awesome. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Anyone else that would like to share before we move on? Thank you, Carolina. That was really, really cool. Did the person with the cat manage to train the cat?
It's not, I think there was too much occlusion from my background, and she's just a black cat. So it's not super successful, but I'll try again getting her across all the angles.
All right, all right. Well, perfect. Thank you so much. I think that's a good exercise to get people to warm up a bit and kind of understand the notion in a simple way. Okay, so let's keep moving. So we talked about Google Photos. Now this is the team I used to work on, which is the Google Home. And you know, we came up with all these different use cases. For example, you can set a timer, like, you know, how much time is left on my pizza, or order some food. I had an intern once, and her project was awesome. She had to figure out what Halloween meant. And she literally went out there and she queried and she asked so many people, and she went to UXR and she leveraged the insights, and she found the exact RGB values of Halloween for the majority of the people. And it's actually fascinating because she was able to understand that, you know, it's hues of purple and pink that Halloween meant for people. So if you have like smart lights and you say, hey, change the room to Halloween, it's the work that she did, which was awesome. This is my favorite. So you literally hold your phone up in a different language, and it will change the translation on the screen. And this is particularly useful if you go to restaurants in a country that you don't understand, right? So, but imagine taking this one step further and introducing a glass. The reason I keep mentioning glass is because I was actually working at the Google Glass team, and we were able to produce this amazing little example that I want to show you. Okay, let me just pull it up. There it is.
By doing that, technology fades into the background, and we're more.
You should be seeing what I'm saying just transcribed for you in real time, kind of like subtitles for the world.
What we're working on is technology that enables us to break down language barriers, taking years of research in Google Translate and bringing that to glasses.
You see me? Oh, sí, sí te veo. Oh,
I'm actually looking straight into your eyes, and it seems like you're looking right at me.
oh, sí, sí, estoy viendo lo que estás diciendo para ayudarte.
Making access to information just instant and intuitive. By doing that, technology fades into the background, and we're more connected with the people and the things around us.
Right, so this is the type of impact you can have with AI. You can have two people communicating with each other, even if one is blind and one is deaf, and they speak different languages, okay? AI is going to resolve all these issues. So it's up to us, the AI product manager, to figure out how to connect these dots and how to figure out what the users want. So generative AI is a bit trickier because it's new, you know, it's very specific, but you know who nailed it? Adobe. So in Adobe, if you go and, you know, type in the word like a box or turtle or whatever this is, and they found the perfect use case for the perfect people, and they monetized it. They did a great job. So they said, hey, our user is designers. The designers pay a subscription to use our products. So the designers will come to us and they will say, hey, I have a client. They want an invitation for a birthday party for a kid that has a turtle, that's a boxer. So we'll produce the actual template for them. Designer will take it, tweak it, and then they just launch it in the end. So they will not only produce quick results, the quality will be good, and they will be able to add more clients because it's going to take way less time for them to produce what they need. So that's the perfect example of an AI product that fits business viability, of user desirability, and technical feasibility. So it's these three things we need to always have in mind, and I'll talk to you about this in more detail. Okay.
First part of this time.
I do have a lot of examples. You're so passionate and I want to get you so excited, but let me hold off on the videos and show you the videos later. One more. Okay. Let me dive into the details. So what's the difference between generic AI PM and, generic PM and AI PM? I have this silly video that's great for always kind of breaking the ice that I want to play.
You take the specifications from the customers and you bring them down to the software engineers. Yes, that's right. Well, then I just have to ask, why couldn't the customers just take them directly to the software people, huh? Well, I'll tell you why. Because engineers are not good at dealing with customers. So you physically take the specs from the customer? Well, no, my secretary does that, or the fax. So then you must physically bring them to the software people? Well, no. Yeah, I mean, sometimes. What would you say you do here?
All right, so a lot of times people are asking us and they say, hey, well, what do you do as a product manager? Well, what we do is this definition I have here, which is a PM helps their team and their company build the chip, the right product. Okay, so what we do is we are great at resource management, at coordination, at support. We are great at having technical influence and building and shipping with the engineers. But the heart of it all is the right product. We're great at figuring out what product needs to be built. Okay. So that's what we do. And I see, thank you for filling out the survey. I see that, most of you are product managers, which is great. If you're not a product manager and have any questions, please let me know. And I'll answer anything that may not be clear. This is the form if you haven't filled it out. And I've loved the chat. Someone is like, I have people skills. I'm good at dealing with people. Yeah, this is ridiculous completely. Okay, so that's what the generic PM does. And let's please once and for all settle this. Okay, so product managers are not project managers. They're not program managers. They're not technical project managers. Product managers answer the what. Project managers answer the how. So product management means we're setting the vision for like the first year, 2 years, 5, 10. We think big, we think far. We don't care about the resources we have, okay? But a project manager breaks initiatives into tasks. They plan project timelines. They allocate project resources. They monitor task completion. They communicate progress to stakeholders. So they sit right there in the middle of business, UX, and engineering. Sometimes we're janitors, sometimes we're designers, sometimes we're researchers, sometimes we're analysts, advocates, research managers, and so on. What I love explaining about AI, about product management is that if things go well, you give the credit to the team. If things don't go well, you take the blame. And it's like being in an orchestra and you're a maestro, right? If the music goes well, you kind of, when everyone applauds, you fade in the back and you let people get the credit. It's a high risk job. We are all here because we love it, right? And we're right there in the middle. So how is AI product management different? Well, in AI product management, you help your team and your company solve the right problem. In AI PM, you have a technology ahead of time, but you don't have users. You don't know who would use this, if they would use it. You know how in generative AI, you can produce that little turtle, but you're like, who would use this? Adobe found product market fit. They said designers will use this. They will convert what the users this technology into something the users will pay for and will want. Okay. So you are right there in the middle of business, AI research, and question marks. We have question marks because we just don't know who the user is. We have question marks because we don't know if users will adopt this technology. And as you see at the top right, I think this is the heart of it all. And we want to produce something that's viable from a business perspective, meaning that people could pay. We want to produce something that's desirable from the user perspective. And we want to produce something that's feasible technically. So we do have the feasibility checked. We do have we know that we can produce this technology because it's already there, but we don't know if people are going to pay for it and if people are going to want it. And this is the heart of what we're trying to do here. Now, and I want to share with you also my Instagram, because sometimes I produce content. If you want to follow me there, that would be great too. So we talk about AI, machine learning, and deep learning, and I get this question a lot, like, okay, what's the difference? Well, AI is the overall domain, okay? AI is the notion of a program that can sense, reason, and act and adapt. Within it, you have machine learning. So machine learning, you have algorithms whose performance improve as they're exposed to more data over time, okay? So this means that there's the notion we mentioned, the classification, all these things. This is the machine learning part. But a lot of people use AI and ML as if it's two different things. But no, I want you to know AI is the big bubble, machine learning is in it. And then we have deep learning, which is the core functionality. It's the neural networks that actually learn with data. So I want you to always remember this bubble whenever you hear about AI, and use it in the right way, So AI is the big one, machine learning is within it, and then deep learning is even deeper. Right, so time for the interesting things. So what are the 5 stages of the AI product development lifecycle? Number 1, we're coming up with ideas. How can we leverage some technology we already have for the benefit of the users? Well, I use quite a lot ChatGPT to help me with this, but what you want to do is understand who the user could be. So you hypothesize a lot, you test thoroughly, you pivot all the time. So if you're a big company that has a lot of UXR resources, this is great, and you are going to be set up for success. But if you're a company that's kind of smaller, you rely heavily on tools like ChatGPT that can actually help you out. So here's what I like to do. I'll show you a little demo of how I use ChatGPT. And I have a generative AI for PMs short course, just a 2-day workshop. If anyone is interested, please reach out to me. So what we're going to try to do now is take this bubble. These are ability from humans, okay? So let's come here and let's say I am a product manager. And my research team, my AI research team, has the ability to translate speech into different languages automatically. And what we want to do now is figure out a list of potential user personas and their use cases as to how they would use this tech. Tech. And then let's see what it says. Honestly, it's such a powerful tool. Okay, look the type of thing you can get. So, global business executives that have virtual meetings with international folks and need real-time translation. Tourist traveler that uses the technology when traveling to converse with locals, ask for directions, order food, and understand nuances. Customer supports, online content creator and streamer, international educator, online tutor. healthcare professionals, international journalists, NGO workers, and the list keeps going on. But my point is, you wouldn't be able to produce such a big list if it weren't for ChatGPT. This is great. You already have the use case. You know what they want. You know what defines them. You know who they are. This is just absolutely amazing. So if we move forward to the AI product development lifecycle, let's say we've ticked the, the desirability from a human perspective. The next thing you want to do is figure out for the use cases mentioned, what are the pain points? Why can they right now not achieve this use case? Like, what is missing and how can you fix it? So you need to make a lot of hypotheses and test thoroughly, and also pivot a lot. Okay. So here, what you're trying to do is understand why they cannot achieve this right now, and then whether a solution that you produce is going to help them, pay for it and turn this into a product. That's a key turning point. So let's choose one of them. I of course like the tourist and traveler one. Okay. So we can say for the tourist traveler use case, what current pain points are these users are facing for the use case mentioned? Okay, and we can understand what's happening. Okay. So pain points, language barriers, of course. Okay. They can't understand. There are some translation apps that are like, not working very well. Internet dependence, right? If you travel, you don't want to spend this crazy search data costs, so you cannot connect online. Time-consuming manual input when you travel. Cultural nuances and context. It's more than just translating directly the word. You also need to understand if they're more polite, if there's anything you need to pay attention to, if there's something insensitive, privacy concerns, and all these things. Okay. So now we understand what the users want. We have a great use case in mind, right? Next thing we want to do is jump in further. Okay. So you have pain points. We can prioritize and choose one of the pain points. In this example, I would like to prioritize the internet dependence. I think this is great. And we can literally ask the ChatGPT, come up with a feature that will solve with an AI. That feature that will solve the internet dependence pain points. Wow. We also have a product name. This is the Offline Linguist. It's a dedicated AI device that specializes to speech-to-speech language translation without the need of internet. It integrates machine learning for offline use. Key features: preloaded language packs, compact and durable design. Yeah, it's super cool. Thank you, Karen. Extended party life, cultural context, update and expand. And you can have add-ons in case you're not already mind blown by what ChatGPT can do, right? This is freaking amazing. Okay, so right now we know what the users want. We know what the users' pain points are. We know how to solve the pain points. That was my baby saying hi to you all. If you're next thing we want to do is figure out how to monetize this. Okay, what different monetization strategies can we use for, what is it called? Offline Linguist. Direct sales. Okay, well, you can sell it as a one-time purchase, sure. Subscription, of course. Lower upfront cost, charge monthly. Premium, it's the standard techniques, but you can see them attached to your product. Right, this is a good question. Are there quick ways to sane check the product suggestions? No, there are not. And this is why ChatGPT will never replace the PM, because you only have the gut feeling, you only have the full context. You're the one that can understand what is and isn't valuable. So that's why you're the one kind of moving the puppet, and you're not just letting ChatGPT create products. All right, so we did that. So next thing we want to do is talk about an MVP. Okay, let's say we want to create an MVP. What features do we need to include? As you all know, the MVP would be, if you want to create a car that takes you from point A to point B, the first is going to be like a little wheel. No, because the wheel does not achieve your mission. So you need to come up with a version of a new product that allows the team to collect the maximum amount of validated learning for the least possible effort. Okay. So a skateboard is going to take you there. It does fulfill your mission, which is to take you from point A to point B. And then you add a little steering wheel, you add a little bicycle, you make it into a motorcycle, and you ended up turning it into an actual car. Well, how does an AI MVP differ? Well, an AI MVP is different in the sense that you will have enough data in the beginning. So you're really good. So you're gonna launch something that's not great. Number two, you kind of need to bias a model you create. So you are gonna hard code part of the experience there because it's an MVP, and that's fine. You want to show integration potential in AI MVPs. So you want to demonstrate that, okay, sure, whatever I'm creating is great, but can I integrate in reality this technology into my Fitbit devices that don't have enough computational power? Okay, so there's so much more you need to consider in AI MVPs. But now, what I want to do is start having you more involved, and I have a set of exercises for you. So the way these are actually going to work is I'm going to be giving you an exercise, and you'll be going into breakout rooms with random people from this group, and you will be just introducing yourselves so that you can, this is a community, right? I want you all to get to know each other and connect. So I'll send you out to the first breakout room, and what I want you to do is, if you are in an odd number breakout room, I want you to choose to either discuss Udemy or Netflix. And if you're in an even breakout room number, I want you to discuss either a dating app or a chatbot. Okay, Bumble or a chatbot. So, odd, Udemy or Netflix, you choose, and then even, you choose Bumble or chatbot. And what I want you to do is define the AI MVP. So define the simplest version of these that has some smart functionality. Udemy, we all know what it is. It's for people that allow instructors to build online courses. Netflix, streaming service. Bumble, you know what it is, dating app focused for women. And then chatbot is, the Siri's and Alexas and all these things. So what I want to do is I'll send you the breakout room, and let's make it a 10-minute breakout room. And I want you to literally come up with a list of the minimum possible features you can come up with, assuming that these don't exist yet. Okay, so let's say it's 0 to 1, Netflix is a new thing. Oh my goodness, can you not hear me? Let me see. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Okay,
we
cool.
can hear you.
I don't know what happened. Yeah, someone messaged me and said they can't hear me. Okay, cool. So 10 minutes in the breakout room, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss your ideas and the findings. And then we'll come back and we'll do a lot of more exercises because I want you to all get to know each other. Okay, so I have someone here that's going to help us with the breakout room. So you should be receiving an invite soon. And then we'll take it from there. All right. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to give it 20 seconds and we can dive in. And everyone should be here in 10 seconds. All right. Perfect. There we are. Everyone's back. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so welcome back. So you were all sent out into a breakout room because we asked you to come up with the AI MVP for the product of your choice. So I'd love to get raise of hands from people that would like to tell me, what the team chose and what features that you will include that your minimum viable product. So Karen Kim.
Thank you. So we ended up focusing on Netflix for ours, and it's really difficult to separate the algorithm that's already there. But a few things that we thought about were, what if Netflix could learn more about me, the time of day that I'm watching Netflix, and what specific use cases I'm looking at. For example, do I prefer watching rom-coms in the daytime or blockbusters or action movies at night? Am I casually watching? Am I having a movie night with friends and family? If AI could pick up on those behaviors and basically zoom in a lot more on the algorithm based on those behaviors. Other things, other ideas included device location. Could there be smart volume adjustments by device per piece of content? Do we also want to have internationalization-based content categorization? We understand that there are some offerings on Netflix that have, for example, Korean subtitles. What if there were a way to provide more of that multilingual experience for family accounts?
Wow. Okay. Love it. And I can understand, I had the same issue separating myself from what's actually there and being able to take it one step further. Okay, this is great. Love it. Who was in your team?
So it was me, Gracelyn, Arzu, and Amy Tonget.
Awesome. Okay. I'd love to hear from more people from the team. Amy, so what was your experience like? Was it challenging? Oh, you're muted, Amy. Awesome.
Sorry.
Go for it.
The experience of being in this breakout and trying to think of these ideas.
Yeah.
I think I'm so new to this idea and I don't see yet how it pertains to our products. I found it a little challenging to think about it. Karen was great at leading us through the process and brainstorming. So, but once we got going, we sort of built off each other. So.
Yeah. Perfect. And that's exactly what I want to do. I want to make people feel uncomfortable, but I also want to make people feel better together. So that's why I wanted to group you and not just send you off on your own. Okay. So Netflix, yes, coming up with an AI MVP. I guess the first thing we need to start with is also the goal. What are we trying to achieve? What is the mission? With Netflix, is it to have a streaming service? But how can we leverage AI? Well, maybe what we care about in Netflix is recommending the right content to people. So a MVP for that would be to literally have a little widget that shows you that belongs to the same genre as what you just watched. And our MVP can be, let's just start with, I don't know, rom-coms or, action films or just shows versus movies and so on. So this is the type of thinking, you want to streamline things into a very specific way. Okay, let's move forward. Any other teams that chose Netflix? I would like to raise their hands. Any other teams? Any teams that chose Udemy? Udemy is the platform where you upload offline courses and people.
Hey, Marilee, this is Carmen. We our group did Netflix as well.
Oh, perfect. I'd love to hear your take.
I'll put some folks on the spot as well. I will give an overview and then hand off to Elizabeth, Carolina,
Awesome.
or someone else from the team. I think I would say that we shared some of the same things, and trying to get this done in a short amount of time was tough and we made it uncomfortable. But I think focusing on what the problems we thought we needed to solve as users of Netflix, we also came up with initially sort of recommendations. But one of the things we also came up with, like enhanced voice search. So if you take into account looking for something and the AI being able to sort of disambiguate what you're asking for and being able to find it most effectively so that you're not trying to look for things and end up in dead ends. That was one piece that we brought up. And then we also talked about being able to understand sentiment of what the user is looking for, sentiment of what the content you're looking for, and using voice. So we talked about like maybe even having sort of a chatbot type of feature so that you could really drill in. So in today's world where Netflix does have, you know, the carousels and the recommendations as they are, is there a way to sort of have some sort of widget where you can actually say, this is, for example, I just got home, I have 45 minutes to watch something, I really want to relax. What do you have? And see what recommendations. And then over time, we also talked about personalization and how it could learn more about the user itself versus the grouping that they're in. And I'll pause there if anyone else wants to add anything from our team.
Yeah, I think that was a good summary. This is Carolina. I think that was a good summary. I think we just focus in the pain point, like searching is sometimes very annoying in Netflix, and it kind of takes away the enjoyment of watching movies. So how could we make it easier leveraging AI?
Nice. Well, I want to push this forward and ask how you would measure success. Would you like to take a stab?
I will just a few comments is like how many people are actually using the video or like audio, the chat, video chat, how many people get to it, how many people ask the questions, and how many people say it's good answer or bad answer. So that can help the system to tune up the experience and making sure of how to learn from that as an AI.
Nice.
I mean, it can get deeper from the top of the funnel to deeper. How many people are really staying, seeing the movie or dropping out? And so it just kind of have different dimensions. But I would say then you have to look at the top of the funnel, how much interaction is with that, how much are they seeing the content, and how is it going, the thumbs up going throughout the time. So I guess then you have to define time, how to leverage to see in terms of metrics.
Wonderful. And we're going to talk about metrics. That's why I'm asking you, and I want to push things a bit because measuring success for AI products is a bit different. But the on the product side, the product metrics, this makes perfect sense. All right. So this, I love this. Less time spent in preview Doomland. Yes. All right. So anyone that worked and chose Bumble? Yep. Go for it. Yeah, Ramya.
Hi.
Your MVP.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me go to my notes. So the MVP, we had a bunch of MVPs. So I'm going to list all of it, like capture profiles, understanding the profiles with security and authenticity, like maybe add a robot or something. And then make sure that we match the profiles based on similarities, likes and dislikes, communicate the matches, maybe have a chatbot integration, and then measure the success, matching success rate. So those were some of the MVPs.
Nice. So I like the word matching, right? In dating apps marketplace, it's all about matching. So with AI, we can improve who's going to match with whom, because we want to maximize the chances of you matching with the right person. And there's so much that can go in this, right? There's so much we can do. We can even analyze, the humor of the person for what I know, right? So there's just so much we can do there to recommend the right person to maximize the chance of matching. So how do we do that from an MVP standpoint is the key question, right? All right. Exactly. Ariana is like, well, don't make me scroll. Yes, we don't want to scroll. We want to find the one person and just leave the product, which, sounds a bit counterintuitive to the goal. Okay. And did anyone choose to discuss chatbots at all? I'd love to get your take.
I think we were the last group and we also chatted through Bumble. So
yeah. What did you do on Bumble?
We focused more on the kind of that technical aspect of the matching algorithm. One of the things that we were trying to break down was how do we know what signals are most important to users to match with the highest quality? So, maybe taking different data points that we would surface or use with different users and seeing the success rate based on the, swiping left or right for the users that we would test with to better understand maybe some signals that should be weighted higher than others, because those are some that are correlated with the most success of people liking other people with those similar characteristics versus others that might be more nice to haves or might not have as strong signals towards that positive correlation. So using some of that data to help refine what that matching algorithm looks like before tackling some of that user experience questions that we might have for the product.
Love it so much. Okay, well, perfect. Why I wanted you to do this exercise is to learn to move around the technology, but for something the users would want, versus traditional product management is more about, okay, let's come up with one of the 500 pain points and let's figure out solutions for that pain point. Whereas now it's like, this is what we can do. Let's build the story around it. So it's a bit different, right? But what I want to make sure is to always remember we need to only solve problems that are real. So make sure you're solving a real problem. Don't leverage the technology for the sake of leveraging the technology. All right. So we talked about defining an AI MVP. Now let's go back, and I'm going to show you this later. Let's discuss a bit that notion. So are you solving a real problem? And I don't know if you remember ICQ. I might be too old, but ICQ was this great little messaging app where you could just message each other. It was like an MSN and AOL type of thing before they got created. And it was just great. Everyone that had internet access back then was using it. And there was a very distinct sound when people message you. It was like, uh-oh, that's the sound it would make. It was great. But I don't know, does anyone remember it? Does anyone? Yeah, okay, cool. So what went wrong? Why did it die? Why is it not a billion-dollar company now? Does anyone know? Well, what they did is they said, oh my God, this is great. This is the best thing in the world. So what they did is they said, we are going to just keep adding features. So they took away from the beautiful, simple messaging premise they had into, like, they even did these random things. They had a web browser, they had like a shopping thing, and this simple, lightweight app became this very hard to access app that just got lost. Okay, so everyone moved over to MSN and AOL Messenger and all these things. So there was something called feature bloat that we need to be able to avoid for no reason. So when you solve a problem with AI, make sure you have a real reason to create a new feature. Okay. Google Glass. This is the original one. So what happened? Who knows what the issue was there? So for the original Google Glass, essentially they launched it and they didn't have a use case. They launched this super cool device that, could take videos and photos of your walk and could see on the screen, but there was no reason for it to exist. Well, some people said, oh, we are going to ask all our interviewers to use these glasses when they interview so that we can take notes and so that we can be more present in the moment. But then they realized that everyone interviewing was actually failing the interview and doing so bad, because who would want to perform when someone is recording? It's the same as me interviewing you and holding this and filming you, right? So very, very different. So this got destroyed because there was no real use case. Make sure whenever you come up with ideas, don't fall into the shiny object trap. And I don't want you to fall in it. Let's see. And Blockbuster. Does anyone know the Blockbuster story? Some people do. Okay. So here's what's happening. Blockbuster was this this little center where you could go in and walk and browse different just pick it, rent it, take it home. But now what happened then is they had so many blockbusters with videotapes, and it was the best. Saturday nights, you go in with your pajamas, pick out a movie, get charged every day, you have it. Okay. But then this startup came up called Netflix, and they said, we don't think people want to walk and be in the pajamas. They just want to stay home and watch at home. So we're gonna ship tapes to their mail. Okay, so I would decide what I want, and they would ship the tape to my mail. And the startup, Netflix, is like, well, not only do we want to do this, maybe we can figure out a way for streaming per movie, right? And then this whole streaming industry kicked off. Blockbuster was like, no, no, no. People love the experience of coming here. They want to browse in their pajamas. We're not going to change it. Things are great. Little startup, stay away. Of course, everyone loved streaming and loved receiving tapes at their home. Blockbuster started dying. And eventually, Blockbuster is like, oh, wait. We can also ship. We can also do streaming. Of course, it was too late and they died. And the ultimate irony is what happened today, which is actually not today, like these days. Netflix produced a blockbuster documentary on their bankruptcy, which is the ultimate, like, sad story. Absolutely sad story. So what is the learning here? The learning is that we need to adapt, or we are going to face extinction. And if you don't adapt with AI, you just are going to have a huge disadvantage in the future. Very important to know these 3 rules that I have written here, which is, I haven't written them. So, feature bloat. Okay, if something isn't working, get used to rolling back. Number 2, smart glasses were very cool, but there was this shiny object trap. Number 3, and very, very important as well, do not think that if everything is working well now, it's going to work well in the future. Okay, so make sure to always adapt. And if your company is like, oh, we don't know, we don't want to adapt, please push back to them and say, we need to always just. All right, so some people say it was fun to browse movies with friends to pick what you were going to watch together. Yes, it was fun. I remember that. It was very fun. And there were late fees, but Netflix didn't have late fees. So thank you, Ariana, for summarizing this. Yeah, I really wanted to talk to you about this for idea generation. So switching gears, and now we're going to move to you building your own AI product in the same way they did before. So we talked about this, right? ChatGPT, define your user personas and all these things. But now it's time for you to do it. And I have put together, there's an alarm, I don't know where it is. So I put together this little exercise and I'm going to share in the chat. And what I want to ask you to do is make a copy of this entire deck. Make a copy. So you go File, make a copy, entire presentation. And what I want you to do is go on slide 2. And you see here, I have an option you can decide from. If you're an odd numbered group, you will need to decide on technology, which is either speech recognition or text to speech. So speech recognition, there's a typo here. So speech recognition is sound to text or text to speech, okay? Like a robot talking of some sort. And then even numbered groups, I want you to choose either text to image, like we saw before with Adobe, or image to text, okay? So you will choose your technology, and then you will go through every single thing we did. I want you to identify user segments for that technology. And then I want you to choose a user segment and identify 3 use cases and their pain points. Solutions for the pain points, okay? But also I want you to explain why AI is necessary. And as PMs, you need to be able to defend that. If someone asks you, why is it necessary? And most of the time, honestly, the answer is going to be something like, well, there's no way to have this smart functionality with anything other than AI. There's no way to survive if we don't have a fancy recommendation algorithm, smart algorithm, matching algorithm, generation algorithm, and so on. Or because the CEO said so, exactly. Here, I want you to do this offline, okay? If you are building the recommendation engine for Netflix, what are the trade-offs you care about? I want you to think about this offline, and we can discuss this a bit further on Slack. I'm sure you all know of the RISE model, but this is an amazing way to prioritize features. So I've created a table for you, and I'll walk you through the process. So you saw that when we came here, they came up with like all these like different features that we can potentially use. But how do you prioritize? Well, you come to this template and you write down each and every feature. And then you write, what percentage do you think of the time, what percentage of the persona you're targeting can you reach with this? Here's an example. Let's say I have an accessibility feature with speech recognition, okay? The accessibility feature depends on specific user persona. Like some people may have issues seeing, so they need the speech, the text to speech. So we would reach 100% people off the persona we're targeting. Reach other personas that are using the product necessarily, but we need to know how many would care about using this feature. Like a simple recommendation algorithm may not be used by everyone, but the feature is going to be used by everyone. So that's a great way to think about impact. Okay. The actual impact, right? Accessibility is like 10, but the recommendation is like, okay, I don't know, like a 7. Confidence. How confident are we that we can pull this off from 1 to 10? Effort. How much effort is this going to be? And usually you talk to engineers about this, or you can kind of guess. So you take all these and you put it into this formula, reach times impact times confidence divided by effort. And you add your score here for each and every one, all the features, and you sort by score. What scores the highest is the first feature you're going to build. This is how I like to prioritize my features and create my roadmaps. So my roadmap will literally be, this will be version 1, this will be version 2. So I literally convert this into a roadmap. I'm not going to talk about goals. So now I want to send you to a breakout room for, let's say 20 minutes. And I want you, and it's going to be with new people. And I want you to choose speech recognition or text to speech for odd numbered, even numbered, text to image or image to text. Go through idea generation, write it down, user segment, write it down, solution for the pain points. This, leave it for offline after we're done so that you can keep things going, and then create a little roadmap. I know it's a lot, but it's a great exercise. And let me know, are there any questions? So are the user segments just for the AI tech, or do we think of an idea? The segments are specifically for that tech. So I want you to literally think of this tech and how that can be leveraged for specific use cases.
So when you say tech, sorry, it's a silly question, but I don't understand. You say tech, like, what do you mean? Tech?
When we say tech, is literally the technology of being able to convert from speech to text.
Oh, technology. Oh, that's what
technology. Yeah, technology.
Okay.
And Marilee, I saw a mention of Netflix before, but this is not specific to Netflix or that sort of streaming technology. You're talking about in the wide breadth of whatever we can think of. If it's like, for example, text to image or an image to text.
Yeah, it's just an example. Netflix was an example. What this exercise is about is specifically for this.
Got it. So it just will open up our eyes to whichever application we think would be a good context for this tech.
Yeah, correct.
Cool.
And I'll be going from room to room to kind of see how you're getting on. So it's going to be 20 minutes, and then we're going to come back for the last 10 minutes to do like a little wrap up and answer any questions that you may have and take it from there.
And I will send you all to the breakout room now.
Thank you all. All right, welcome back, everyone. So I was jumping from room to room. In the beginning, I was talking and I was asking people, well, how is it going? What do you think? But then eventually I was just in the background observing, and I just loved it. Like, people came together, they worked together as if, you know, you've known each other for a while. So it was super good to see kind of the community bonding over this. So I know we only have 10 minutes. I do want to take any questions you have, but I want you to share a copy of your deck. Just make sure to go to the share and make sure it's accessible by external emails in Slack so that other people can see what you came up with, because there is no right or wrong solution. The use cases are endless of where you want to take this and, you know, how you can tackle it. So please go to Slack and do this. Meantime, I'm happy to take any questions. This was all the content I wanted to go through today. As I said, like, it was a sneak peek of it was very, very quick and short, but I hope people enjoyed it. And we also have one more announcement, which is after the last workshop of this program, I am actually hosting a hackathon for everyone that's interested in joining. So this will be exactly on the 31st, which is Halloween. So you're encouraged to wear anything you want, anything strange as well. We will share more information, but essentially this will be a 3-hour online event where you will just get sent to breakout rooms and you will work on an idea that you have. We're working on the details of what a little prize would be. So there will be a prize, and actually I will also let the team that wins into my academy for free. So that's a prize of me personally, but I know Women in Program may also have some prize as well. So yeah, we'll share more information, but just get ready. The fun doesn't end after the last workshop. The fun ends right after. So I'm happy to take any questions if you want to raise your hand. In the meantime, I also wanted to share, I've started this YouTube channel about AI product management. I so not know what I'm doing, figuring things out. But if you can subscribe, I think this will be a great help for me so that I can, I don't know, see if I can get the hang of it. Oh, and someone is
one basic question I have, Marley, is how do I access Slack? Like, how do I get to chat with everyone? Because I have not done that before.
Oh, yeah. I'll ask Evelyn or Ariana to talk about it.
Hey, you're welcome to email us at info@womenpm.org if you didn't get your invite, and we will make sure that we can get that straightened out for you. It's info@womenpm.org, and we'll get you taken care of.
Thank you.
Excellent. So yeah, if there are any questions, please raise your hand. And remember, this is a safe space. You can ask anything at all that you'd like. You can just comment on what you thought about the exercise as well. I think most people seem to have been enjoying it, which is good. But yeah, let me know if there's anything at all I can answer for you. And I think most of the people actually were able to proceed far enough, but if you haven't, please do so offline and please paste your link on Slack. Oh, Carolina, go for it.
Hi, great for the great interacting section. Thank you so much. Just a quick question for you. I have been assessing a lot AI tools for companies here, for large companies or medium-sized companies. So is it anything that what are the things that you will suggest as you are kind of looking? There's a lot of things kind of moving very fast. There's a lot of options. So how do you have kind of ways of securing yourself in terms of going with a tech stack that is actually long-term more suitable. So I don't know if you have like something where you assess as you have the same thing can you do for product prioritization the same way that I do it. So I don't know if you have something like that to help you assess new technologies. And if you want to do your own in your own business, what are kind of the guidelines in that as well?
So I love no-code tools, and a great no-code tool that I use is AutoML, Google AutoML. So you can train custom machine learning models. You don't need to code. They have like a lot of information here, but I would encourage you to just check it out. AutoML has some great examples. But yeah, other than that, honestly, things are moving in my life, at least things are moving so fast that I'm just rushing and trying things out and pivoting. And it's key to have a good partner, a good data scientist or ML engineer that can help you vet these things.
Okay.
It's a fine line between the AI PM role and the research scientist role. But like what you're saying right now falls right in the middle. So I would actually encourage you to brainstorm with your counterpart for this sort of thing. But yeah, no-code tools is the way to go. And don't do more work than you need. Like there are so many tools that you can just leverage.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Excellent. Next, Miriam.
Hi, thank you so much. It was an awesome course today, so really appreciate the exercises. I wanted to ask you something, and maybe you could point us to resources about this. But in a lot of the events that I go to around AI, one of the topics that come up regularly, aside from figuring out the use case, which is very, of course, the fundamental thing, is figuring out the ROI and the cost of implementing AI features into the roadmap. And so basically the economics of, it sounds like a lot of specifically enterprises, and I'm not talking about big tech, right? Because there's limitless budget. There's like if you basically go SMB or even mid-sized enterprises, do you have any suggestions around boosting and strengthening our knowledge on the economics and how to basically do the back of the envelope calculations there?
So for big tech companies, usually there is some R&D department that incorporates, they have full-time employees that do this, and their job is to go from team to team to kind of help them build like a little solution for them. So if it's incorporated in your workflows, there isn't like a cost per se. But if you're a smaller startup or a medium company, you need to set aside, I mean, I'm not going to give a number here, but whatever you allocate for like hiring a data scientist or an external training for you, just add an extra 30% because where the real cost comes in is data collection. You will never have enough data to train a model that produces some good quality. So you always ended up adding more. So data collection is a huge issue. And you know, as product manager, you want to launch, but the question is, I'm like, is it good enough for me to launch, or do I have to wait it out?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. All right. And Ramya.
Yeah, so how to constantly educate ourselves in AI? So I know my session with you is done for today, but then how do I keep myself engaged with AI? Because I don't have any scope of work that I could see where I could use AI in day-to-day life or be part of. But what do you suggest, you know, how to keep ourselves updated?
Unfortunately, or fortunately, what's going on right now is you just need to sign up for newsletters and join the right people that produce the content. So I have a newsletter that I do post some things here and then if you want to register for free. But there are things I read. So let me find some of the newsletters I follow. AI newsletters. That's the only way. That's the only way. Newsletters, like I haven't found anything else that, oh, there you go. Check this out. This has a lot of nice newsletters in.
Are there projects that you do that, you know, like just what's the right word, just for free, where you involve like people that are interested in helping you out, like a freelancing project where you know have a bunch of AI interested people that can join you and do projects? Do you run any such things? Or
So I have two lives. One life is my meta life in the morning where we have resources, is great. By the way, if anyone is interested in meta, I'm happy to refer you. Like, send me a resume and the role you're interested in. I want to help the community just like the community has helped me. So if there's a role, please reach out. So my other life is the courses I run, and a lot of times I'm looking for teaching fellows that wouldn't mind coming in, maybe looking into the projects and giving feedback. And that's a great way to access the bootcamp for free and meet other people and network with them, because I attract there are some pretty cool people in there and pretty senior. So, there are these sort of things that you can do. But yeah, please reach out to me. Happy to continue the conversation for this sort of thing. And I included a 30% of my bootcamp just for this group, by the way. So if you're interested, please, you can register. We start next week. All right, one more question, and okay, Claire, go for it.
Hi, yeah, quick question. Great session today. And I love, I'm just getting used to using all these tools in PM workflows. Are there any concerns around IP or companies like Meta and Google having you use ChatGPT to produce some of these use cases and product ideas? And how can we advocate for ourselves to use them?
Yeah, absolutely. There was a PM at Samsung that got fired because they wrote down the information about their product and asked for a PID from ChatGPT. So you should never reveal anything, because everything you reveal is going to go back to the training data pool and someone else can get it. Always disguise it and always use it for like fragmented things here and there with different wordings. If your company has a ChatGPT solution, like a Gen AI solution, use that. But I'm very worried about these things. Like, there are no regulations yet, so be careful about IP.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. Connect with me. Let's keep the conversation going. It was so nice to get to teach you. I don't like the word teach. To talk to you about AI and product management, and good luck with the rest of the workshops. The other two women are amazing as well, and I'm going to see you again on the hackathon. Please reach out to me. I'd love to keep the conversation going. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.